no surprise to any of us that our government is flawed, and any process that we have in place that's been in place for years and years should be revisited and looked at to see if it fits in today's society. The Electoral College is one of those flawed systems. It undermines democracy, and it needs to be removed, and the popular vote needs to take its place. All of us are US citizens, and as such, we're all affected by the process, and it's our responsibility to fight for change. As a US citizen myself, I have voted in many elections, and I will continue to vote, but I want to make sure that my vote counts. Through my research, I've seen many different perspectives on this, and through much consideration, I've come to the conclusion that we need to eliminate the electoral vote. So let's talk about some of the flaws. According to the American Bar Association, more than 700 proposals in the last 200 years have been made to amend the electoral vote in the Constitution. That's more than any other subject in the Constitution. So what are some of the reasons why? So first off, the Electoral College is poorly suited for a time with high income and geographic inequality that we're in right now. Most, but not all states, allow electors, or require electors rather, to vote for the popular vote. There are some states that allow electors to vote against the popular vote. Currently, in every state gets 2 electoral votes. And then they also get the number of votes where they have representation in the House of Representatives. Well, this allows for small states to be overrepresented. For instance, California, they have 39 million people, 55 electoral votes, so that's 1 per 279,000 people. Whereas a state like Wyoming has 582,000 people, 3 electoral votes, and that makes it 1 per 194,000. In the 176 years prior to the 2000 election, 3 times the president was elected based on the electoral votes when they didn't win the popular vote. Since 2000, this has happened twice. And you'll see this is an example of the 2016 election, where you'll see Hillary Clinton won the election, or won the popular vote by nearly 2.9 million votes, but still lost based on electoral votes. The certainty that certain states will vote for one particular party means that candidates only have to focus on a few states in order to win elections. A November 6th, 2016 PBS NewsHour said that Trump and Clinton only had to visit 11 states, or rather, they spent 90% of their time in only 11 states. So we should be concerned about that in the 21st century, because we need to make sure that all states and all votes are represented. Another issue with the Electoral College is it's rooted in slavery and racism. The Founding Fathers protected states with legal slavery in them. Slaves couldn't vote, but yet they were counted as population in order to get those states representation in House of Representatives. And of course, the popular vote would not have been advantageous for those southern states. And Americans want change. This graph shows how American opinion has changed over the years. And as of 2024, 63% of Americans want to change to popular vote, while only 35 want to keep the current system. So what can we do? We can change to a simple vote. Democracy functions on the will of the people, which means every vote should count. As of 2023, there were close to 335 million people in the US, and only 530 electors voted for our president. Some politicians even disagree with the Electoral College. Even Trump, who benefited in 2016 from the Electoral College, said, I would rather see it where we went to a simple vote. You get 100 million votes and someone else gets 90 million and you win. Now, change will require an amendment to the Constitution, and that's a long process, but it's doable. It requires 2/3 approval from both the House and the Senate, and then it requires 38 of the 50 states to also approve it. But regardless of the time it will take, the Electoral College is flawed, and it needs to be revisited, and it needs to be changed. The current system is not suited for today's society. It's rooted in racism, and it's opposed by the majority of Americans. As citizens of a democratic nation, it's our responsibility, and we need to be concerned, and we need to strive for equality for each and every vote. I've seen the fight in your generation for change, and I would hope that you continue to take the opportunity to fight and change the way our presidents are